Happy full moon, beauties. Thank you for checking into another episode of the Collective podcast. I am Haley. If you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are family, what's up? What's happening? Thank you so much for coming back to chime in with me and to just vibe with me. And, for anyone who's new on this, podcast, this is just a really big family that is growing and growing and growing of people who are, just focused on their self-improvement. Self-improvement is the movement. This is a family where we heal together, we grow together, we share together, we cry together, we celebrate together. So it is finally the full moon, my loves. This one, thank God, has been the kindest full moon to me. Being a water sign, other water signs out there can attest that full moons are not always the best for us. This full moon has actually really energized me, really just given me so much gratitude. I feel my inner child just, wanting to come out and play. That's that Leo energy as well. So, I am thankful as a water sign. Please do drop in the comments below and let me know how you're dealing and what your sign is with the full moon, of course. Now, the full moon is happening today, the 27th, 28th as well let's just give it the window for 27th to the 29th, wherever you are in the world, especially wherever you are in the world, okay? Now, as you may or may not know, full moons are a time of reaping the seeds of manifestation, or in simpler words, the results of the actions that you started on the new moon. Now, the new moon was, I think it was on the 13th of the month. Yes, and that was quite a powerful one. Now, full moons are notoriously known for being a time when things that have been in the dark, so to speak, come to light. So please don't be surprised if you do find out something that you didn't know about yourself or about the people around you during this time. Now, this is also a really, really, really great time for you to set intentions for the things that you wish to let go of. Now, that's the main difference between the full moon and the new moon. The new moon, you set intentions for things that you would like, to manifest, seeds you'd like to plant in your life. But the full moon is about, getting ready, getting your proverbial, soil of your mind ready for that new season. So what do you want to let go of? Really think about that. Think about how how a snake sheds its skin. This is the best time for your proverbial skin shedding. So make a list of the people, places, things, and situations that no longer serve your highest good and let go. Now, because it's a full moon in Leo, I really feel the spirit of letting go is the most potent. Now, why do I say this? Well, Leo is the sign that most portrays the childhood spirit when positive. And as you know, children are open-hearted, trusting, enthusiastic, courageous, and loyal. Now, these are all positive attributes of the sign of Leo. So remember, when you were a child and if someone would make you mad, take yourself back to the playground when someone, or even classroom, any type of situation, I had a situation where someone decided to take my crayons and by mistake, because, they used to color in really, really, with so much pressure, they broke one of my favorite crayons. And I was so mad. And I sulked about it for a while, but then in the next few minutes, I was playing with this girl in the playground like nothing had ever happened. You couldn't even tell that there was a disagreement. So that's what I mean. Just reacting in the moment and then a few minutes later forgetting that it even happened. Embrace that spirit. Acknowledge, forgive, release, repeat. Acknowledge, forgive, release, repeat. Ooh, I almost started a drum beat over there. But yeah, I guess you get what I'm trying to say there, right? The themes of really being loyal to yourself, taking a leap of faith, doing something that scares you even, being open-hearted with yourself and your inner child especially may come up for many of us during this time. Now, as you reflect on these, few days, think about how you can best parent the inner child deep inside you by taking time to evaluate what you feel you may be lacking or what you may feel is out of balance. Now, when your inner child doesn't get the consistent, healthy mirroring of acceptance and approval to feel secure in this world, the shadow aspects of your inner child then begin to develop. So a personal example of what I've had to learn in that example and heal as well is codependence. And I think I've mentioned this in previous podcasts. But if you're new, then yeah, that's something that, you should know, that I've been really open with sharing my healing process with regards to codependence. And that's because when I was a child, I really wasn't given the chance to be independent. I was made to feel like everything and anything that I needed, had to come from my parents, even if it was the wrong thing, And that shadow side or negative attribute is actually something that turns up in the sign of Leo, because Leos can be totally dependent on others for their sense of value in the world if they feel out of balance. Now, as you know, everybody's childhood was different. So as you meditate on your inner child today and tomorrow and the next day, because full moon energy is quite potent, ask yourself if you have any of these shadow ways of getting your inner child's needs met for security, acceptance, and approval, because these are all things that we require as human beings, whether you're a big shot CEO or, whatever it is that you are. So here are the following points or shadow ways that may come up if not tended to. Denial. So you may be in a state where you feel like everything in your life is just fine, but when you go to bed, you really just feel like there's so much more that could be happening in your life. Or you may know that something is much better for you than whatever it is that you're experiencing, but because you feel comfortable in the space that you're in denial. And that leads me to the second point, which is avoidance. So if you feel yourself avoiding things, avoiding people, avoiding phone calls, avoiding tasks that you need to do, any type of avoidance, that is something that you really need to dig deep and see what happened when you were a child that led you to be avoidant in anything. There is also the repressing of emotions. So really dig deep and see whether this is something that, applies to you and something maybe that you may have experienced in your childhood as well. The next point I have is blame gaming. Do you tend to never take accountability for anything and always put the blame on others? Then there's excessive risk-taking. Do you feel that you always need to take risks, even when you know that the risk is going to be detrimental to you? Then we have blind acceptance. Are you the type of person who doesn't really need much evidence, who is easily convinced of anything? Think about it. And lastly, are you a people pleaser? I know many of us struggle with that aspect, and it's something that can only be healed by being honest with self. Actually, any type of healing begins with honesty with self. Now, speaking of healing, how do we heal the inner child shadow? Well, first and foremost, something that's really helped with me is, in my own process, has been visualizing my perfect childhood. So, as I said earlier, like my childhood wasn't super ideal. To some people it may seem ideal because like I never lacked anything monetary wise, but affectionate wise I was never given any affection. My talents were milked for the good of other people and not nurtured for myself. But yeah, this is me now healing that childhood visualization by imagining, myself experiencing the perfect type of childhood, the one that I always wanted. So as you heal your inner child shadow, imagine yourself experiencing that perfect childhood. What is it that you always wanted as a child, And not always wanted like in a spoiled way, like you wanted candy all the time. Like, let's be serious. This is serious healing, folks. Like, if you're not about that life, please click off right now with love and light. Now, as we visualize our perfect childhood, visualize yourself receiving the perfect unconditional love and adoration from your caretakers. See yourself being cuddled, kissed, held frequently, and being told that you're special, not just because of being told, but because they truly believe that you are special. And something that I've adopted myself is when I wake up every morning, just looking at myself in the mirror, giving myself a huge hug, telling myself that I am loved, I am beautiful, I am perfect, I am enough just how I am, and you can tweak these phrases to whatever it is that you feel that you lacked when you were a child. I'm just giving you an example based on my own because that's what I know best, but feel free, as I said, we're all on this journey together, so feel free to edit it how it applies to you. Next, allow yourself to feel completely safe, loved, and appreciated. Now, this is really important when you're healing your inner child shadow, because when you feel that all of your needs are perfectly met and that you receive the quality of attention and approval that you always longed for, then there will be no need for you to, people please. There'll be no need for you to be avoidant. There'll be no need for you to be in denial. All those things that we mentioned when you may be facing your shadow. Now, these are also aspects that I said, remember in the beginning when I said, don't be surprised if you find out something you didn't know about yourself or about the people around you. These are the things that may come out about people during this time, because a light is really being shone on our foundations, on where it all started, which is our childhood. Now, give yourself the gift of the perfect childhood experience now. So that's just a reiteration of the perfect childhood visualization that I said in the beginning. So as a visualization, you can either choose to do meditations, play some calming music, or as you go to bed at night, set the intention of just imagining yourself as a child being at your happiest. Now, giving yourself the gift of a perfect childhood experiencing the now would be, experiencing play, like making time for yourself during the day to really have fun. Like I, for example, used to love painting as a child, coloring books, all that type of stuff. So really just give yourself the experience that your inner child would want to experience now as an adult. Your subconscious mind will not know the difference, I promise. Now, the final point is to just repeat all of these points as often as needed, just to help retrain your subconscious mind, just so you can believe that you've always been loved, you've always been supported, you've always had what you felt that you were lacking, or what you felt was out of balance. This will really make you feel secure and have a deep sense of belonging every time after you complete this exercise, whenever you do it. I also like to say affirmations just to really cement my healing for my inner child and just for myself in general. So I'd like to share a few, but feel free to write your own. I think affirmations are always the most powerful when you write your own affirmations. So some of my inner child affirmations are: I am enough. I am always surrounded by divine love and support. I appreciate myself. I am worthy, and I am so proud of myself. I am always secure because I take such good care of myself. I belong even when nobody accepts me. I know that I am accepted by the Most High, and the universe surrounds me with love and light because I am its beloved child. Now, this is not some exercise or energy reserved, for this time frame only, because working with your child as healing is a constant process. It's not a destination, it's a journey, friends. It's a journey. Now, I was led to share a Bible verse with you, and that's Matthew chapter 18, verse 1-5. Even if you are not Christian or not religious, please just stick around and listen to the message, because most people like to, just when they hear the Bible or the Quran is being read, they just click off and stop listening. But if you're truly into spirituality and healing, then you'll get what the flow is. Yeah? So, rank in the kingdom. At that time, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" He called a little child and set him before them and said, "I assure you and most solemnly say to you, unless you repent, that is, change your inner self, your old way of thinking, and live changed lives, and become like children, trusting, humble, and forgiving, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Whoever receives and welcomes one child like this in my name receives me." Now, as promised, the next podcast is going to start really digging deep into how I like to interpret the Bible as a psychological type of drama, thanks to one of my deceased mentors, that is Neville Goddard, who really opened my mind to reading the Bible from a different perspective, not taking it as literally as it was written, but digging deeper. So with that verse that I just read from Matthew chapter 18, verse 1-5, what I see with that is really, tied in with what we're talking about today, about the inner child, about not forgetting that just because we're adults, that we do have that inner child inside us and always will, I don't know if you guys know, this popular saying in pop culture where when you look at an old person who, seems to be lively and everything, that person is considered to, still be a child at heart. Now, what does it mean to be a child at heart? It means to really take care of your inner child, to never forget that aspect of you, because that is your most innocent aspect of you, and it is your most connected aspect. to the divine, to the universe, to source spirit, whatever you believe in, to energies, And I feel like that's what this full moon is really reminding us about, what it's bringing to light. That for all of us on this spiritual journey, for all of us on a journey of self-love, especially those who feel the need to really grow their self-love, people who've not been able to love themselves, it all started somewhere. Where did it start? In your childhood. You were probably not given the care that you really needed, and that wasn't any fault of anybody, because that's something I've had to learn, that our own parents are also still trying to figure out, what life is about, and they were only able to give you what their parents gave them. Yes, let that sink in. They were only able to give you what their parents gave them. And so it is our responsibility to be natural leaders, to be our own parents of our own inner children, and to really just take the time. Take the time to be with ourselves. Take the time to play with ourselves. Take the time to not punish ourselves, but to discipline ourselves. Take the time to notice our needs. Take time to accept ourselves and accept that we are always growing and changing. Take time to be kind and patient with ourselves. Feeding yourself nourishing food. Letting yourself have fun, creating structure for yourself. Maybe as a kid you never had any structure, so routine as an adult can be boring, but if you form a routine that really nurtures you as a child and an adult, an adult within a child, then you will really feel wholesome. And finally, just believing in yourself. Believing in yourself. I mean, throughout the Bible and throughout many religions, the pillar of many, if not all religions, is faith. And I, having started to look at religion from a really detached perspective, have started to see it as us being called to have faith in ourselves, because you can't give what you don't have. You can't believe in other people if you don't believe in yourself, And I believe that since we are manifestations of the Most High, of the universe, of eternal energies, would it not make sense to start by believing in yourself? Would it not make sense to start by nurturing yourself? Think about it. With that, we have come to the end of this full moon podcast. I really do hope you enjoy your full moon in Leo's beauties. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, or you can send us an email. The link to our website is in the bio of our SoundCloud page. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Thank you so much for giving yourself this time. I send you all of the love and all of the light and multitudes of hugs for your inner child and you.